Next, I'd like to introduce Matt Griffin. He's the incoming United Way campaign chair. Over the next year, he will be standing up and speaking again and again all over the community. I'm not sure I want to do that. He's a property developer. He's probably known as head of the team that created Pacific Place. The Stranger had a profile of him. They like him. Some things they said: he lives downtown, loves to bike, doesn't own a car, a generous, consistent donor to great causes. All awesome. And besides United Way, he's a big friend of the Y. In fact, in SeaTac, there's actually a Y named after him. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Matt Griffin.
Thanks, Jordan. You know, with so many of my business friends in the room, I'm not sure what I think about getting introduced by the stranger. I think I'd rather have the fire alarm. I'm excited to be here. I mean, I'm somewhat intimidated taking on this role, but I'm excited to be here. And I'm excited to be here because of the impact that United Way makes in our community. And I'd like to talk about one program in particular today as an example of how United Way makes that impact. And it's one of the programs that got my wife and I excited to step up our support of United Way. But before I do that, let me give just a little bit of background. For some of you that know me, I'm very passionate about education. Evelyn and I both are. I grew up in a simple household. My father was an insurance broker. My mom was a school teacher. We were quite lucky, my brother and I, that basically our family made sacrifices so we could have a great education. Not all kids are as lucky. You know, I'm going to tell a short story here, the one that comes back often, and Mr. Bill, I apologize, but I'm going to tell your story about two kids that basically grew up in different households. And one's a household of higher income. They have probably books and reading, and the parents went to college and they read to their children. And these children grow up thinking about books and school and knowing the alphabet. And then there's another child that grows up in a household that's less fortunate. And they both come to school on the same day. And the teacher in kindergarten basically asks the question about the alphabet to the kid who hasn't been so fortunate. And he doesn't know how to answer it. And he becomes embarrassed. And he slows down. And of course, the other kid is, like the gal in Harry Potter. And what happens from that point forward is that they continue to diverge. One has found that school is a great experience, and the other one has found that basically school is intimidating. And it's unfair. It's just unfair that these kids that come from our state can basically end up in such different position, and that they continue to fall behind. And not only is it unfair to the children, it's basically a waste of resources in our community. So in this program, the program is called the Parent-Child Home Program. And let me talk about how it works, how the United Way works on this. First of all, you know, we need also, as part of the background, realize that 75% of our kids in low-income families come to school not prepared. They're like the kid who gets embarrassed. But in the Parent-Child Home Program, what we do is we have a trained coach. And United Way's agencies, or basically sister agencies, have trained coaches that go out into these homes. And they work with the parent, the mother or the father, and the child. And they go out twice a week. And to these homes, they basically take books. They get down on the floor with the children. They break down some of that intimidation between adults and kids. And they read to these kids. Show them something about reading and what education could be like and about how important it is to do it. Part of it is for the child, part of it's for the coaching for the parent. And they do it for a couple times a week, and they do it for 2 years. And leave the books behind, encourage the mother to read more to this child or to other children. And the results are amazing. After 2 years, this program, which costs $4,000 a year, so we've now spent $8,000 on helping this family and this particular child, only $8,000. And the data shows that we've increased the graduation rates from high school for these kids from 50% to 80%. Thank you. You know, many of us that are business people, we know how much we make in investments in the other programs in the city, in our school district, in the state, the county, the federal level. They're hard to think of one that has as good a bang for the buck. $8,000, and we've changed that high school rate. We're basically getting in front of the problem as opposed to chasing it afterwards. And for these kids, obviously it changes their earning potential. Okay, the data shows that there's probably a chance they'll make 300 grand more than they would otherwise in their lifetime. My mom, who was a teacher, basically worked with kids that had reading problems. She also used to talk about not only can they not read, which puts them behind in school, but in addition, they often have behavioral problems. So again, we've worked on that issue as well. So again, it's a program that's better for the kid, and of course, it's basically better for society. We have basically increased the skills with these kids that we basically need to work in our companies and our jobs and move our economy forward. So the scaling of this project. So the scaling is important. We were fortunate to have John Stanton and some other entrepreneurs in business as well as in social issues bring this program to Seattle. It's a program that's been tried nationally, and they helped fund a start for it. And in the last couple of years, United Way has been able to grow the program. Last year, we basically were able to reach 750 families. That's 4 times as many families as we basically had in 2010. And our goal is to continue to raise the funds to support this program, which will be part of one of the focus of our campaign next year, so that we can actually get to 1,000 families. If we can get to 1,000 families in this community, we can make a real difference on these children and on the families that we'll see play out over the next 20 or 30 years. So this is one example of a great program where United Way makes a difference in our community, the community where we all live and work. It has great value, and it's been recognized nationally, and it's a national program that was brought here to Seattle, but it's a national program that's been named to the Social Impact 100, basically the 100 programs around the country that have the most social impact. We're lucky to have it here. We're lucky to have United Way being one of the leaders in basically introducing it into our community. So next year, as Jordan said, you'll hear from me more than you want. Sorry. I will expect more help from you, maybe than you want, but not as much as you'd like to do, I hope, at the end. And together with you, your friends, and their friends, hopefully we'll have a very successful campaign and again be able to support these programs that make a difference in our community. So thank you very much.